Well, he was born in 1898.
Yes.
And he left school at 12 years of age and went working for his father on the barge.
And what was his father's name?
Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah.
And they carried wool from Liverpool to the Yorkshire Mills.
Yeah.
And sometimes wool and sugar. And sometimes they worked on the Manchester Ship Canal as well. He carried on working on that barge until he joined the forces during the First World War.
Yeah. Did he join up straight away?
No, I think he can't have done. I think it must perhaps about 12 months afterwards.
Yeah.
And when he came out of the forces, when war ended, he went working on a flyboat with 2 other men, which ran 24 hours a day.
So it wouldn't
and that's
stop,
why it never stopped.
Yeah.
That's why there was 3 of them, so that one could sleep.
They do sort of 8 hours.
Take turns, you see. And he carried on there on the flyboats until the commercial boats finished on the canal.
Yeah.
He was then 62.
Do you know what date that was?
Well, he was 62.
Yeah.
Let me see, he died at 90. 1988. So that would be
1966.
1966, that would be. So from then he started working for the flour mill, Ainsco's flour mill.
That's the one at Burscough?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he went on with another man on the wagons first, and then he went into the mill.
Yeah.
And he was there until he officially retired. And then it was semi-retirement after that. He sort of did part-time jobs. You know, working in Westbrook's factory in the village.
Yeah.
And in his own time, he kept the churchyard, Burscough Parish Church, tidy. He did that because he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And he tended a lot of graves there that had got neglected. And he did a lot of work in the churchyard. And of course, in between all this, he's entertaining at the Pensioners Club, and with his concertina, and all the social gatherings, he was there.
Yeah.
They used to send for him, and he would go and entertain them with his dancing and the concertina, you know. And even in Manchester, he has gone. If there's been anything there, he's gone. And then, let me see, he worked for a while at Westbrooks. Now, where else? There's another place. Now, what was it now? Only part-time, just to pass his time, actually. The advertiser. In Ormskirk.
Yeah.
Yes, he went there for a while.
So what was he doing there?
Just in the, I don't know actually, he may have been in the stock room or doing something.
Odd job, sort of.
But yes, but whatever he did efficiently, you know. Yeah. And that was it, actually, apart from all his social functions, going entertaining.
Yeah.
And wherever he was needed, he would go.
Can you tell us how he started his clog dancing?
On the boat.
Yeah.
The rhythm of the boat engine
Yeah.
He's always told me that.
Yeah.
The rhythm of the engine got him going with his feet.
Yeah.
You can understand it, really,
right, yes, yeah.
can't you?
Do you know what sort of engine it was? Was it a steam engine or a diesel engine? A Bollinger engine? Did he ever mention that?
I think it would be diesel.
A diesel engine?
I think so.
Because
yes.
we were speaking to Colin and
yes.
He sort of mentioned that it was a steam engine, which is a more regular rhythm than the old Bollinger engines, which were the diesel engines.
And Colin thought it was steam.
Yes.
Well, it may be.
Yeah. Oh well.
I would say steam then. If it could be. It could have been.
Because the Bollinger rhythm was a lot less regular.
Yes.
So it would be more difficult.
That's how he started with the steps.
Yeah.
With the rhythm.
Yeah.
And that was from when he first started, 12 years old.
So his dad used to do this as well?
Yes,
yeah, so
his dad did it.
Yeah.
Yes, he could dance very well well.
Yeah.
He had an accordion,
but
not a concertina.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it together.
Oh, so his dad would play and
yes,
Bill would dance.
And he would dance, you see. And of course, his father died in his 70s, you know. But he carried on with the dancing. No matter what job he was doing, in the evening, out would come the concertina, you know. And the year before he died, he got all his boyhood pals together. And they did the village tradition of pace egging.
Oh yes, can you tell us a bit about pace egging?
Well, yeah, I forgot it actually, but how many? There was about 7 of them in. The first man in, and they sing the song. The next that comes in, you know, like that sort of thing.
Did you know the song at all?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I saw a couple of verses, and I think
yes.
I did. I know.
One is dressed as a lady, you know.
I think one of the verses goes, or the first verse goes, "I beg you leave, kind gentlemen," and is that the tune? And ladies of renown.
That's right.
If you please to make us room, then we will sing to you a song. If you please to make us room, then we'll sing to you a song. And I'll call on me comrades, and I'll call them one by one.
That's right.
For we're jolly boys, we do no harm. Wherever we may go, and we
are going a pace egging.
Whatever.
Very well to know. I think that was it.
The version I know is slightly different.
Yes,
it's the same sort of tune, isn't it? Yeah.
And of course, people would give eggs.
Yeah.
The lady would carry a basket, and they would give eggs. You know, they didn't need to, but that was the tradition to give eggs. But in those days, every Good Friday, it was done. And he got his old pals together the year before he died, and they did it in the village and at the Pensioners Club. And I believe everyone really enjoyed it. Of course, he had the concertina then. Yeah. He played the concertina that day.
Well, do you remember pace egging from your childhood?
Oh, yes.
Did you used to go out doing it yourself?
Once.
Yeah.
Once I did it. Yeah. Yes, I remember very well. And it was a very, very hot day, and we decided to do this, and boys and girls, and we blacked our faces as well, and we went as far as Latham to the Ring of Bells, and it was really good, and we got eggs and money. Yeah. In those days, they gave you money, and you could spend it with whatever you wanted. But at the end of the day, you shared it. Thought it was great. Yeah. But coming back from Latham, we were so thirsty. We bought lemonade and ice cream, and sat on the roadside to drink it. When I think, but that was the only time I went. Yeah. Just that one time. My mother wouldn't let me go again. She wasn't in favour the first time, you know, but we enjoyed it.
Were the eggs just normal eggs, or were they?
Oh no, real eggs.
They were real. No, were they just hard-boiled eggs, or raw eggs, or paste eggs?
Raw eggs.
Yeah.
Fresh. Yeah. Fresh eggs. Yes.
I remember my grandfather used to make me brown paste eggs.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you remember those.
No. Brown.
Brown paste eggs. They were hard-boiled eggs, and in the water, or you'd wrap onion skins around them. Oh, you could try this yourself. If you wrap onion skins around them, or just put onion skins in the water, the egg will turn brown.
I don't remember. No, I don't remember
I
that.
remember my
Do you?
Yeah, he used to give me paste eggs.
We were getting fresh eggs, you know. But as the years went by, it slowly faded out, you know. It would be lovely, actually, if it happened again.
Yeah.
I do remember the last I did see of paste egging was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Apart from what my brother did the year before. And it was a beautiful Good Friday day. And my son came home. And he lives in Scotland.
Yeah.
And he took me around that day in the car to look if there were any, just to cheer me up actually, because my husband, he hadn't been dead long, you know. And I remember in Oral Lane, and there was a crowd doing the pace egging.
Yeah.
It was lovely, and I really enjoyed it that day, you know.
Yeah.
And that same day we came back and went along Flax Lane, and there's a lot of daffodils out. Beautiful, growing wild.
Yes.
And I came back with a great big bunch of daffodils. Yes, that stands in my mind very much that day. But that was the last time I saw any local people doing the pace egging.
I know it still goes on in Manchester, because a friend of mine organises a pace egging thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But I mean, I haven't seen. I've seen mummers plays at folk clubs, but I've not seen at village people doing pace egging at all.
Have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't really, no. Not about.
You've not heard of it?
No. I heard Mark and Colin talking about it when I went to interview, but I haven't known about it.
No. It was a well-known thing years ago. Of course, Colin's dad, he went in the forces. He only had the one son, my brother. And he was a pilot navigator. Of course, Colin will have told you.
No, he's not told us.
He developed infantry. They were taking prisoners back to Italy.
Yeah.
Just as the war ended, and it was his last flight before he was grounded. And he developed polio in Italy.
Oh.
And my brother and his daughter-in-law, Colin's mum. Colin was only a few months old.
Yeah.
They flew to Italy to him because they just said he wouldn't live.
Yeah.
And it was a miracle actually. No, when he became conscious and knew that his dad and Joan was there, it revived him.
Yeah.
But he was in an iron lung for a long time. And when they got him over here to Stoke Mandeville, they had him there for a long time. And he had to go in the iron lung at home to have it asleep.
Yeah.
But eventually he got driving his car with special gears, you know. But to breathe, he just couldn't breathe sometimes, and he had to sleep in the iron lung. And he'd been in the war, and for that to happen, you know, that was Colin's dad.
Yeah. Did Bill mention anything about the war? Any stories at all?
He has, not a lot, but he used to talk about being in the trenches.
Yeah. What did he used to tell you?
There were their days days on end without food, wet, and just sort of waiting in the trenches and protecting themselves with whatever. The guns, you know, they weren't small guns then, they were like a rifle sort of thing.
Yeah. And, whereabouts was he?
In France.
Whereabouts in France? Was it in Ypres?
Where?
Or they might call it Wipers. Did he call it Wipers?
Yes, Wipers. Yeah.
Somebody mentioned to me that he went to Gallipoli as well. Is that correct?
He could have. I didn't hear him speak about that.
I think it was. Is it Bob or Bob's wife?
Yeah.
Because I rang them up.
Yes.
When I was trying to find some information.
Yes.
So he mentioned that he went to Gallipoli.
Yes. But he didn't speak about that to me, but probably did. You know.
Yeah. Well, Colin was saying that. He didn't like to talk about the war.
He didn't really. He didn't talk about it much. No, he didn't. He talked about his working days more than he did about the war. In fact, I got this photograph. He gave me that a few years ago. Now look at it.
Yeah.
Now that's what. Now just imagine, love, that was the First World War.
Yeah.
Now that, I think, was when he first went in.
Yeah.
In the army.
Do you know which regiment he was in? At all?
No. Was it the Kings? I think it was the Kings.
The Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look at the dress, you know, and
there you go.
I mean.
Have you seen any photos?
You see how old that is, love.
My mum's dad, I think, used to be in the army. Over in Ireland, and they had uniforms like this.
Had they? Yeah. How long ago was that?
Oh, long before my time anyway. That's about, say, 10, 12 years ago.
Oh, yes. In Ireland?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Did Bill join up with his mates, or was it just something he went and did on his own accord?
Well, no, you see,
look, he
got his calling, you know, how it was in the Second World War. You waited till you were called.
Yeah. He just didn't go and volunteer?
Oh, no, I don't know.
No.
But he was never happy at the early years on the boats.
Yeah.
He wasn't very happy, but his father made him. Made him go.
Yeah.
You know, those days you had to do as your father said.
That's right.
no matter what other thing you had in mind.
Yeah.
But at 12 years of age, you just had to do it, I suppose. You know.
So how long would he have been on the boat for each trip?
For each trip.
Would he sort of be 3 or 4 days to go there and 3 or 4 days back again?
Yes. And my mother would do all the baking to last them.
Yeah.
The bread and the pies, cakes and everything. They had big baskets.
Yeah.
And they took enough pastries and bread to last them.
Yeah.
For nearly a week sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So I suppose if he was going up to Leeds,
that's right.
He'd be away a long time.
That's right. Yeah. And then when they arrived back, there'd be another basket ready to go again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how it worked actually. Yeah. But they did a lot of cooking themselves.
Yeah. I imagine the living quarters would be a bit cramped.
Yes. Well, I, as a young person, have been in just to look, and I've had a sail in one or two of them, of course. And they are small.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. All the amenities are there.
They've got everything.
And a bunk.
Yeah.
The sleeping, one at each side.
Mm-hmm.
What they call a bunk bed. They call it the bunk.
Yeah.
And there was one at each side. And the table, you pulled it out, you see. So when you finished, it went back.
Yeah.
So there's plenty. There was quite enough space, actually.
I imagine most of the day you'd be up on the deck anyway, so you wouldn't need a lot of space.
No. But,
if he was away, say, for longer than a week,
yes.
Would they be able to get food or messages and things to him at all?
From home?
From home.
No. Only, I don't think, no. Only if they were stopped, perhaps in Yorkshire, for some unknown reason, there would be a letter sent.
Yeah. How would that letter get there? Would they...
Well, they'd find a village and post it, or get someone to post it. I can just remember an odd letter coming home.
Yeah.
You know, from one of them. So.
Would they use the flyboats at all to pass messages on, as these boats were going?
Well, yes, they would do, because they all knew each other.
Yeah.
You see,
as
one was coming back.
Yeah.
They'd send messages back home.
Yeah.
I have heard him say that.
Yeah.
You know, so that was quite, you know, how easy then, instead of phoning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, when you think of what we've got now.
I know.
You know, calling to each other. Will you call home and tell them we'll be a day later, or we hope to be home next Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So Burscough was Burscough a canal village as such, with a lot of people who've worked on the canal.
Yes, yes,
and,
yes.
Oscar, I think, as well.
That's right. Of course, there wasn't as many living then in the village as there is now. Yeah. Of course, every boatman knew each other.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
You know, you could say there was about 8. You know, at the most.
Yeah.
And each family knew the other family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're all very close.
Yeah.
So they were nearly all boat people.
Yeah, so they could meet somebody they knew.
That's right.
Very regularly.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So when I think of a question. You didn't go on the canals or on the boats sort of on a regular basis.
Oh, no.
Did any of your brothers work on the canals?
Yeah, I had another brother.
Yeah.
His wife still lives in Birkdale.
Yeah.
Harry, his name was. He's been dead now about 6 years.
Yeah.
And he worked on the boats, you know, but they carried coal.
Yeah. So they'd go from Wigan.
That's right.
To
Yorkshire.
Yeah.
But they carried coal.
Yeah.
And that was an engine as well, not a horse boat.
And so Bill would have started off on the horses.
That's on the horse boat, yes.
Yeah.
My father had 2 horses.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought they were wonderful, the horses. I can just remember the horses.
Oh, yeah.
And the horse used to pull the boat.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. I've been on the canal myself just on holidays.
Yes.
And occasionally we've had to get hold of the rope and pull it along for some reason. And it's quite easy to do that. Once you get going, you just need a little pull. So I imagine at first, if it was just setting off, the horse would have quite a bit to do.
Yes.
But once it got going, it would just sort of amble along leisurely.
Yes. Well, I have had a ride on when it was a horse boat.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was marvellous, you know. But I loved the horse, but I felt sorry for it, you know. But it used to plodding along, you know, and it didn't seem to be an effort at all.
Do you know what the horse was called? Did you have a name?
Tommy. Probably, yes, after its master. Yes, but there's another one as well. He had 2. And actually, Colin must have the photographs. My brother showed me some photographs before he died, before he was taken ill. He wasn't ill long, actually. And one of the horses is there, a photograph, and Colin's dad is on its back.
Oh, yeah.
So Colin must have it.
Yeah, I don't remember. We did see some photographs, but I don't actually remember one with the horse. Do you remember one with the horse?
No. Well,
it might have been
yes. Yeah. No, I'd forgotten about that. Now that is one of the horses.
Yeah.
Yes. And Colin's dad is sat on the back of the horse.
Did he ever used to leg through tunnels?
Pardon?
Did Bill ever have to used to leg through tunnels? Did you go anywhere where there was a tunnel? And the horse had to go over the top and Bill had to leg through?
Oh, I think I've heard them talk about that.
They'd lie on their back on the and just put the legs.
They had to go over the bridge.
Yeah.
I think they had to go over the bridge and meet it at the other side or something.
Yeah.
I used to hear them talk about that.
And they used to have all this, what they still do on bridges, where the towpath would cross from one side to the other.
Yes.
And what the horse would do was go up the bridge
over
round.
That's right.
Still with the rope on.
Yes.
And just go round underneath the bridge. And pass over onto the other towpath without letting go of the rope.
That's right. And then one of them would join.
Yeah.
And take the horse round.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So you say you had two horses. Was one horse?
Well, one was resting, I think.
And one at the other. So.
Not two together.
Yeah.
Not working together. Yeah. He used to take it in turns, I think.
Yeah.
He'd have one at home in the stable.
Yeah.
And one doing the work, and then
when they came back, they'd change over.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Do you remember when they stopped using the horses?
With the horses?
And went on to the engines?
No, I can't, to be honest. I remember it, but I can't say just when it was.
Yeah.
Because they thought it was marvellous going on to the engines.
Yeah.
Really. And I can't just remember when it was.
Were they able to go faster?
Oh, yes.
Using the engines?
Yes, much faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know today you go on the canals and the speed limit is 4 miles an hour. You can't go any faster else you start washing the bank away.
Yes.
I don't know if they went any faster.
They did go fairly fast. Yes. Yes. And of course they got more work done. It was more efficient, you know.
Yeah.
And they hadn't the horse problem at all, you know. But that's many years ago when the engine came in.
Yeah.
I can't just say when it did come in, you know, really.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, years ago since the horses were pulling the boats. I can't just say really how long.
Well, did they ever have any problems with, say if the horse went lame or got sick or something?
Oh yes.
How would they cope with that?
Well, they just had to tie the boat.
Yeah.
Lay it up, as you say, lay it up until the horse was all right again.
Yes.
And then they continue the journey.
Would they find a vet or something?
Oh yes, yes. But actually, there was never much ever go wrong with the horses.
No.
I don't know why, but I never heard my father talk about the horse being ill or anything like that. Of course, I was very, very young then, so I'm going on what my brothers talked to me about, you know, and what I can remember the others talking about, you know, what they've done and where they've been. And it's stood in my mind, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. But, I mean, my family, my daughter, my son, they've always been interested to know all about this.
Yeah.
You know, and because they never saw any of it.
No.
And they're very interested in knowing what happened in those days.
Yeah.
And they're amazed, actually,
you
know, the work that they had to do and how they worked night and day, you know, to get to their destination.
Yeah.
Without sleep.
Yeah.
Without sleep, they could go 2 days and nights and not sleep.
Yeah.
Because it had to be done, you know.
Did Bill always travel with Leeds and Liverpool, or did he go up and down the country as well?
Leeds and Liverpool, and sometimes he worked on the Manchester Ship Canal.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he'd never go down on the Shropshire Union, say, or...
Oh, no. It was mostly like the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, and to Yorkshire, and the Manchester Ship Canal.
Can we ask you a bit about your life? Do you mind?
My life.
What do you remember about school days, and what you did when you left school?
Oh dear. Well, I went to the Methodist school in the village. Well-known school. Yeah. Albert's dad. He went to St John's in School Lane. Yeah. I went to the Methodist. I was the youngest of the family.
Yeah.
And the youngest of 11 children. You see, those days, they were all big families.
And my grandmother was one of 10, so it's...
Is she?
Yeah, well, she was. And,
yes.
There aren't many left now, unfortunately.
No.
But, there were 10 of them, plus mum and dad, of course.
Yes.
So...
Well, I started work at 14 to go child nursing. I was interested in that, but I should have gone further actually, and I had to leave school.
Yeah.
I should have gone to the grammar school actually, but no, I wasn't allowed.
Oh.
I had to find work. You see.
Yeah.
And I went working as a nursemaid. Which I enjoyed actually, for a long time.
When you were at school, did you play games and things?
Oh yes,
what sort of
netball.
And when you're in the playground, what sort of games did you play?
Rounders and netball.
Yeah.
That's all about.
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, oh yes.
Unusual sort of thing.
Yes.
Marbles, or was that just a boys?
I think that was a boys' game. Skipping.
Yeah.
And
did you have any skipping rhymes? Was it just a sort of 1, 2, 3 a layer type thing?
Yes. You
can't remember anything that you used to do?
Not really.
Were the teachers much more stricter than
yes,
in those days?
Very much so. Very much so, love. Actually, since I came, I lived in Manchester. I belonged to Burscough, of course, as you remember. But I lived in Manchester for 8 years because my husband was a Manchester man. But that wasn't the reason. Because he was a regular army man. He was a captain in the army. And I lived in Manchester 8 years, just over. And when Marelyn and David were quite young, I went shopping into Southport. And there was a Moore's Market then. A lot of people will know it now. I remember it. It was called Moore's Market. It was an indoor market pub. And stood beside me was one of my teachers. She lived in Southport. I always remember her. Her name was Mrs. Tudsbury. And she, oh dear, and she stood beside me at the counter. And she recognised me, and I recognised her. And she was very old, as you can imagine, but she knew me. And she got hold of me. I could have cried because she wasn't a very popular teacher, actually. But I always felt sorry for her because she was a widow. And she had a daughter whom she adored and worked hard for. You understand? And I always felt sorry for her. And to see her stood there beside me and to recognise each other, and me being married with 2 children of my own, then it was a very emotional few minutes. And another teacher lived on Liverpool Road. She was very strict. Fitzsimmons. Her son lives along there now. And a Miss Bannister, she was head of the junior department. She was very strict. You see, they used the cane those days.
So what sort of things would provoke you getting the cane?
If you were talking when you should not have been talking, even if you were whispering, or if you'd got something wrong twice, or the cane, definitely, yes. If you moved out of line in the yard when you were marching in, you got the cane. They would come into the playground with the cane.
So you had to, when you were playing in the school in the yard, and did the bell go or something?
Yes.
Did you have to line up?
And if you stepped out of line or moved, you got the cane.
Yeah.
You had to walk straight and not speak or touch another person, or you would be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know when you were in your lessons, did you have to use the pens where you had to fill them up from the inkwells to write with?
Did what?
Did you have to use the pens where you had to fill them up with the inkwell?
Yes.
And if you smudged it, did you get
Yes, now let me tell you a story about that. The inkwells were on the desks there. And you'd stick your pen in those days. And this particular teacher, Mrs. Tudsbury, the one whom I met in Southport, one of her habits was doing this to you on your head. Mind you, I don't know, I never got punished. No. But to the boys, she'd do this business. Now, this is quite true. I've told my daughter about this, and this boy, I think he'd been talking. There was something, and she was doing this to him. And he put his hand under the desk and tipped the inkwell over her, down her, and they went all down her stockings then it was. And, well, he got punished more, but she called me out to go out and buy some new stockings. Yeah. I always remember going to a little shop where I knew. She asked me did I know who sold, and I did know, and I enjoyed going outside and buying her some new stockings.
Yeah.
But he did that, love. He tipped up the inkwell. You should some of the boys.
Can you tell us about Burscough in general, how it's changed over the years?
Well, it has changed, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, there's not the same friendliness about the place. Well, there isn't anywhere.
No.
Is there? Everyone once upon a time knew each other much more than what they do now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm speaking for myself personally. I mean, I go down and I do know everyone really that knows me. It's hello, and you know, but there's so many strangers now from the outskirts, you know, and they do not know Burscough people. And Burscough people don't know them, so that there isn't the same communication at all, you know.
Well, Parbold was the same. I mean, I remember Parbold when it didn't have estates, and that's probably the sort of early 60s. I mean, probably when I was about 4. So we're talking about 1965.
Yes.
When I can remember what the place used to look like. And since then, there's estates have been built up, and like you say, you don't know your next door neighbour.
You don't really, love. It's so built up now.
Yeah.
You know, and the shops are not the same.
No.
You haven't got the personal service that you used to have. You know, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 really good shops. You could walk in and you were personally attended to.
Do you remember the names of the shops?
Yes, there was Wells under in Orr Lane. There was Seddon's on the corner. You know, there's all the groceries there that you could mention. Then further down, there's another one, Rushton's.
Yeah.
And then there was the Culshaw's. And they were all really nice, good shops.
Yeah.
You could buy fresh food, bacon, cooked meats.
Yeah.
And they smelled nice. You could smell the bread just as though it was homemade.
Yeah.
You know. And then across the road, there was Sanford's. Now, they used to bake bread for a halfpenny a loaf.
Mm-hmm.
My mother used to make her own bread.
Yeah.
And they had big ovens at Sanford's. What my mother baked, she'd bake one or two in her own. But we used to take the bread to Sanford's. And there's other people did as well. And they baked a loaf for you for a halfpenny a loaf.
Yeah.
And the school, they used to, I was one anyhow, I suppose, used to let me out to go and bring the bread home.
Yeah.
When it was cooked, when it was baked.
Yeah.
And we had a little, like a truck, and there'd be about 6 or 7 loaves on it.
Were they the same size as you get today, or bigger? Or?
They're about this size in length, and that wide, like that.
Yeah.
You know, not long like this.
It's about the same size as you get today.
Yes.
Is that about right? Yeah.
But they were built up on top.
Yeah.
You see, with being homemade.
Yeah.
And they smell gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to take a friend with me to bring the bread home.
Yeah. This is from school?
Yes.
You let out of school?
Yes.
How did you know when it was ready then? Did they
used to say, come back in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
You see, and the teacher used to let us go.
Yeah.
She knew what we were doing. We were going to bring the bread home for our mother, you see. And she would say, take a friend with you.
Yeah.
Because it needed 2. And I remember paying for this bread, only a halfpenny to bake a loaf.
Also, the prices were a lot cheaper in those days than they are today.
Yes, that was just to bake it,
mm-hmm.
you see. And coming home with the bread, it made you feel so hungry. You felt like eating your loaf, but you didn't. You didn't do it.
How much would, if you bought the bread from the bakers, how much would that have cost you?
About 2 halfpenny, I think.
So you saved a lot of money.
That's right, yes, yes.
About 67p now for a loaf or something.
I don't know.
It's 39 for a small one.
Yeah.
Yes. But those are things that I remember when we went taking the bread to be baked.
Yeah.
And going out, being allowed to go out of school to bring it home, then go back into school.
Yeah. Can I ask what the date was? You know, what sort of period of time this was, roughly?
Well, now, let me think. We're in 1990 now, so I would say about 1925.
Yeah.
About 1925. Yes. Yeah.
But what were the roads like in Burscough then? Was it just cobble streets, or did they have sort of tarmac roads?
No, they were cobbled.
Yeah.
They were cobbled, yes.
And
yeah.
Did it sort of go the same way that the A59 does now?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that hasn't been changed.
Yeah, just
no.
been tarmacked over.
That's right, yes.
The railway would have been there, obviously.
You could stand in the middle of the road and have your photograph taken then.
Yeah.
Without any problem.
You can't do that now.
No,
yeah.
No, you could. Yes. You could stand right in the centre and have a conversation.
What sort of traffic was it? Was it sort of horse-drawn? Or
mostly, yes.
You
never saw a car hardly, you know.
Yeah.
Occasionally you would see a car, an old car, you know, but not very often, love.
Yeah.
No. It's mostly a horse and a trap, you know, trotting along. But very occasional car. You may go into Southport, you see an odd car more, you know.
But they certainly wouldn't be the volume.
No.
Isn't it? Everybody didn't have cars; they just walked about.
That's right. Yes.
Was the train service regular then?
There were trains. Yes.
So did you used to catch the train at all?
That's right. Yes. Where it is now. At Burscough Bridge.
Yeah.
And the junction here,
Yeah.
which has changed, of course.
Yeah.
You could get a train there.
So did you could you get a train from here to Southport?
Yes.
Did they sort of go around the corner and sort of go up to Southport from Burscough?
From the Burscough, yes.
Yeah.
From the and Liverpool.
Yeah.
You can go to Liverpool from this one
and
Southport.
And Manchester.
That's right. Manchester from the other one.
Yeah. Oh, so you couldn't go to Manchester?
No. From the one in the village.
Yeah.
From the bridge. Yeah.
So the two bridges have been there for a while.
That's right. Yes. As long as I can remember, love. You know.
But do you know when you got on the train, did you used to buy the tickets as well, or was that different?
No, you had to book your ticket. You had to get your ticket at the booking office.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't get on the train and then the guard would come round.
No.
Yeah, so sometimes that